Welcome to this video all about Singapore Zoo, one of the best rainforest zoos in the world. This really is an absolutely amazing zoo with over 4,200 animals, including animals of the feathered variety, animals small, tall, slow and fast. So without further ado, let's get straight into this video now. And we'll start off by giving you a couple of little tips, and one of them is about buying tickets. There's no counter to buy tickets here, although there is machines, but we'd recommend that you purchase your tickets online before coming from the official website manday.com. And there's different types of tickets that you can buy, obviously depending on your budget and how long you're coming for. And there's 4 wildlife parks here, including Bird Paradise, River Wonders, Rainforest Wild Asia, and the park that we're going to be focusing on, which is Singapore Zoo. And another thing that we'd recommend as well is to download the app, again from the Manday website or from the QR code that's coming up on the screen. And it really has some useful features to make your life easier when visiting, such as setting reminders as well as maps to help you navigate through the different zones. And there's me and Fang on the map, making our way to the first zone of today, which is the elephants of Asia. So now, we're going to go and see the elephants. The feeding time for the elephants are at 9:30 in the morning, 11:45 and 4:30 in the afternoon. And you can add a feeding package for each of the different animals that you want to feed when buying your tickets, and they cost an additional 8 Singaporean dollars for each of the animals that you want to feed. And there's 10 elephants here that live at the zoo. All of the elephants are females. The current matriarch, which is the head of the tribe, is an elephant called Kamali, which is the one with pink spots on her trunk and ears. And she's the only Sri Lankan elephant and rules over the herd with an iron trunk, so to speak, keeping the younger elephants in their place, and is very protective of those who've earned her trust, both elephants and humans alike. And as well as the feeding session, there's also a daily keeper talk at 11:30 in the morning where you can learn more about these Asian elephants from the people who know best, the keepers. And we'll have a listen to one of the keepers now as he tells us some facts about these magnificent creatures.
Okay, elephants, they only have just 4 teeth. Okay, unlike us human adults, we have a set of 32. Elephants only have just 4. And each single tooth can weigh about 1.5 to 3 kilograms. Very, very heavy, strong and sturdy.
I didn't know that they only had 4 teeth. How about you? Did you know that? And as we go around this awesome zoo, I'll keep drip feeding you some top tips from what we learnt and experienced to make your life easier when visiting. With another one being to arrive early. The zoo opens at 8:30 in the morning and closes at 6 in the evening, so it's worth coming early to make the most of your day and see as many animals as possible in the different animal shows, which I'll come to shortly. And getting around the park's easy. There's a complimentary tram that goes in a loop, stopping at 4 stations. It's unlimited, so you can explore the zoo at your leisure, with the last tram leaving from station 1 at 5:30 in the evening. And we'll take the tram now from station 2, near the elephants of Asia, to another part of the zoo at station 3, where we'll go and see Wild Africa. And it's a great way to travel a zoo. You can listen to stories about the animals as you go around.
Wild pygmy hippos in West Africa are endangered, but under human care they breathe well.
And some of the animals that you'll find in this part of the world include an herbivorous hoofstock, like the tallest land animal in the world, which is the giraffe, reaching a height of 6 meters. And giraffes' tongues are about 1/2 meter long and purple in colour to prevent sunburn.
Interesting.
And you can also feed these giraffes as well if you want, as well as 2 other animals in this part of the zoo, including the zebras and the white rhinoceroses. And again, each of those cost 8 Singaporean dollars, and there's limited slots available per session, so if that's of interest to you, it's probably worth booking in advance. And we'll go and have a little look around this section of Singapore Zoo, Wild Africa, where you don't need a plane ticket to experience the wonders of the savannah. You can see all the animals here in one place, including these packs of African painted dogs. And you can view these dogs both inside and out. There's a sheltered hut with glass so you can get a closer look at them. as well as a look at the king of the jungle. In this case, the king of the zoo. These African lions love to bask in the sun, but don't be fooled by the laziness. They can sprint up to 80 kilometers an hour when it's time for action. And if speed had a champion, it'd be the cheetah. These spotted sprinters can hit 112 kilometers an hour in seconds, which is faster than a sports car. This is a red river hog, which is a wild member of the pig family that lives in Africa. And here at Singapore Zoo, we'll take a walk now and go and see the Splash Safari Animal Show that takes place at the Shaw Foundation Amphitheatre. Twice a day at 10:30 in the morning and 5 in the evening. And the sea lion loves to cool off the audience with big splashes, so if you want to get splashed, sit in the first front 2 rows. And the Splash Safari features this super smart sea lion, Pedro, who's one of 4 Californian sea lions at Singapore Zoo, alongside Tiago, Philippe and Pumba. This show will leave a lasting impression as Pedro performs a host of stunts and tricks, including jumping for objects, barrel rolls, twirling around and giving a round of applause. And besides the stunts and tricks, the show's packed with fun facts about marine conservation. And it's great for all ages, whether you're a kid or just a kid at heart. We'll take a walk now to the centre point on the map. And you may be wondering about the food and drink here. If you've seen any of our other videos, then you're probably aware that food's an important aspect of many of our trips. And you won't be disappointed at this zoo for food either. Not only are there lots of vending machines where you can grab drinks, they even have an ice cream machine as well, which is good to cool off a bit from the Singapore heat. Although we didn't have that problem today, as it was quite cool. And there's certainly no shortage of places to eat here as well. There's 10 dining outlets, with the most popular one being this place called 𝐷 And there's a lovely story about why it's named 𝐷
Hey, what happened?
𝐷 was a Sumatran orangutan and an icon for tourism at Singapore Zoo. She appeared in several tourism advertisements and is regarded as a national treasure here. She was so popular that when she died, hundreds and thousands of people turned up at Singapore Zoo for a memorial service. And this restaurant was named after her, ensuring that 𝐷's name's never forgotten. And whilst we're on the topic of food, I'll show you some of the food that we ate here. I got the ayam goreng Kelantan nasi kerabu.
What?
Which was a boned chicken and coconut rice dish. And Fang got the signature nasi lemak, and we also got the famous kaya butter toast with egg, which tasted amazing. And that meal came to 50 Singaporean dollars for the 2 of us, which is roughly the same price as you pay for an entry ticket for 1 person, although that can rise quite rapidly depending on the packages that you might want to add on. So that was a little sample of some of the food that's available here. It's good. And just near the 𝐷 restaurant, you'll find Orangutan Island, which features these lovely orange-coloured durian-eating Bornean orangutans. It's one of the most innovative and unique exhibits at Singapore Zoo. These Bornean orangutans thrive in this environment, which mimics their natural habitat. Unlike traditional enclosures, Orangutan Island's surrounded by water and connected to the mainland by these overhead rope bridges that we're walking across. This design allows the orangutans to move freely, just like they would in the wild, swinging and climbing from tree to tree and across the water. Yay! And this dedicates special attention to threatened primates, and has a section where we'll head over to now within the zoo called Primate Kingdom. And before we get to Primate Kingdom, I just want to give you a little bit of information really on how to get here. You might be wondering what the best way to get here is, and we came by the MRT, which stands for Mass Rapid Transport, and we got the MRT from Bras Bazar, I think that's how you pronounce it, to Dhoby Ghaut, and then we transferred within Dhoby Ghaut station to the Red Line. And then from here, you'll travel 10 stations away to Khatib station. And then from Khatib station, you can get a bus outside the station that'll take you to Singapore Zoo or any of the other parks that you want to visit. And it's clearly signposted, and the buses run every 10 to 15 minutes. from outside Kidz Station. But you don't have to come the same way that we did. You can always get a taxi or drive yourself. And getting back to Primate Kingdom now, where you can come and hang out with our closest relatives.
Hello.
Including the red-shanked 𝐘𝐿𝐒, with these striking colours and almond-shaped eyes. They're like royalty in the primate world.
Can't see any.
That's probably why we couldn't see any. Although we had better luck seeing the ring-tailed lemurs, who are super social and full of personality. And a fact about these lemurs is that they use over 20 different calls to talk to each other. Here we can also see the black and white ruffed lemur, an animal that's critically endangered and is of an extremely high risk of extinction from the wild. And if you want to see and know more about the animals in this part of the zoo, then you're in luck, because there's a primate keeper talk that's held daily at 11 o'clock in the morning and 2 in the afternoon, where you'll get insider stories and fun facts straight from the people who care for them. And as luck would have it, when walking around we spotted the red-shanked 𝐘𝐿𝐒 that had eluded us earlier. And we also got to see the black and gold howler monkey, or at least the back of it.
No!
As well as the eastern black and white colobus. I think that's how you pronounce it. Pardon my pronunciation on some of these. On that note, let's move on. And I do keep a lot of these bloopers or mistakes in our videos just to show that we are real human beings and not AI voices.
Analyzing data.
And getting back on point, just a short walk from Primate Kingdom is a region called the Great Rift Valley of Ethiopia, which was inspired by Ethiopia's dry savanna, and it authentically replicates the rocky terrain characteristic of the region. And you may have guessed by now that I try to provide you with as much information as possible in each and every one of these videos, and this one being no exception. So as we watch some of these hamadryas baboons in this part of the zoo, you'll probably weren't wondering about coming with children, but just in case you were, there is push chairs that are available to hire, or strollers if you're American, as well as a wagon if you want to pull your kids around the park. And there's a charge for these, but the wheelchairs here are free should you need one.
That is splendid.
And getting back to the baboons, which visitors can view these animals from a specifically designed rock cave with glass panelled enclosure. Here you can view them close up and see why they're notable for their pronounced sexual dysmorphism. And another fun fact is that in ancient Egyptian culture, hamadryas baboons were revered and associated with Thoth, the god of wisdom and writing, who were often depicted in art and held in high esteem, reflecting their significance in human history. And another animal here at the Great Rift Valley of Ethiopia is the common 𝐘𝐿𝐒. And at Singapore Zoo they have one of my personal favourites here, which happen to be the same colours of our beloved football team, Newcastle United. And it is of course the penguin. And a fun fact about penguins, not only do the colours represent one of the best football teams in the Premier League, but they have no teeth, and a group of penguins in the water is called a raft, but on land they're called a waddle. And just 2 more areas of the zoo I'd like to show you now to finish off this whirlwind adventure of Singapore Zoo, so let's jump back on the tram and go to stop number 4. And towards this end of the park, as we go around, you can see Reptopia, where you can go and look at all the different reptiles, as the name suggests, and there's also a place called Fragile Forest. And opposite where you get off the tram at stop 4 is Kidz World, which is home to the Ranger Buddies, and there's a KFC, which is convenient. Now let's start to wrap this video up now. If you've got this far, I hope it's been useful for you, and if it has, then it'd take 2 seconds just to help us out by giving it a like.
I like it!
And you'll exit the zoo conveniently through a gift shop. And like with all these places we visit, I bought Fang a cuddly toy. And can you guess which animal I bought her?
I wonder.
Yes, it had to be old Pedro the sea lion. And as we take the shuttle bus back to Kidz MRT station, feel free to have a look at some of the other places that we've travelled. There's lots of useful videos on there if you're visiting Singapore. We've done a 3-day itinerary with cost breakdowns as well as other videos like Sentosa Island, and the places that we've visited around the world and documented, from theme parks in Japan and South Korea to canoeing in Vietnam,
Buster.
and feeding tigers in Cambodia.
Oh my god.
And we'd love you to come on more journeys with us, and you can do just that by clicking on one of these next videos.